off that.
Ate the paint off. Not talking about your dog. You're talking about sand on the beach.
The air on the beach, the moist air blowing in off of the anyway. Never mind.
Well, little did I know when I went down there that there was a hurricane that was coming into the Gulf, and when we were coming out, the waves were coming over the FJ, and we were on a little peninsula, and I was like, "Get me out! Get me out of here!"
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this, but we were camped at Disney World's Fort Wilderness. Whenever a hurricane came through, it was like a tropical storm. But yeah, we were camped
like
there. It was awesome.
Poor planning. Well, hey everyone, we are live on the Overland Podcast. We just been talking and having a good time. We're playing get to know you, because that's what it's all about.
That is
tonight is getting to know you. I got my coffee. We got all our drinks filled up. We're ready to go. So it's been a pretty crazy week already. Tony's trying to get ready for rendezvous, and it feels like he cannot get everything ready.
It's like I didn't know I was going.
You've known you were going.
Hey, listen. So I wanted to say a big congratulations to Galen real quick.
Yeah.
He hit his 2,024 miles today.
Walking.
He walked 2,024 miles today. Like
for the year.
For the year. Oh, wow. He's one of our biggest
and he's not even homeless.
Listeners. Yeah. So hey Galen, sorry we're gonna miss you, buddy.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And we also want to say our big congratulations to Jared and Kayla. They had their baby this week. That's so cool. For them, not for me. That's cool for them. Having a baby would be awful for me, but for them, that's awesome. I'm so excited for them.
Gia doesn't need another one.
No, she's got PJ, our little pup. Is all that we want to do, babe. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for joining us. But man, we are excited. We are getting ready for rendezvous. My wife asked me a while ago. She said, "Are you kind of bummed that you're not getting to go tomorrow with Tony and Michael?" And I was like, I could be ready to go in like 8 minutes. Tony apparently needs longer than I do to get ready.
Yeah, I'm going to need about 18 more hours to get ready.
I don't know what takes you so long. I just don't get it.
I just have a process,
I guess.
Got a lot of sand to clean out of his Jeep, apparently.
Yeah.
He's got you got to hand wash everything, right?
Isn't that what it is? Yeah, that's what I did. Today I hand washed and chamoised the Jeep and vacuumed.
He's got the cleanest Jeep in the world, I swear.
Yeah. I only do that for, certain people, special occasions.
We're camping like on dirt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tonight we have with us Paul and Bethany from Radio Chatter Game. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you taking time out of your evening to be on here with us. I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Mamoo's Kitchen is with us. Do y'all know about Mamoo's Kitchen?
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So,
yes.
Hey, I've already got some of their meals packed. I did that right after I got the Jeep washed.
My wife said, "What are you taking to eat?" I said,
Mamoo's.
Yeah, I'm taking Mamoo's Kitchen. Mamoo's Kitchen is a group of guys that they make freeze-dried Cajun meals. Ooh. And they are like for backpacking, camping, easy. All you need is hot water in 10 minutes, and you have the absolute best meal. And my wife and I have been searching for good quality backpacking meals. And when we met them at Overland of America a couple weeks ago, they had all these samples to try. And I mean, it's got real shrimp in it, real crab in it. It's outrageous good. So, we want to give them a shout out because they are awesome. That's great. And super nice guys. Yeah. I mean, just real nice guys. So tonight we're talking to Paul and Bethany. We wanted them to come on because kind of made contact with y'all this past summer about the thing that y'all have come up with, the Radio Chatter Game, and I have right here. And my wife and I were going on a super long trip, and we needed something to help us bypass the time. And so we did, and it was incredible. And so wanted to have y'all come on and talk about that. But first of all, let's get to know you a little better. Tell us about yourself. Where are you from, and how did you develop a love for the outdoors?
All right, I'll start.
Yeah.
So I'm Paul, and we're from Berkeley, Michigan. It's just outside of Detroit. And I just grew up, we camped, like that was our vacation. We didn't go, we went to Disney one time, I think, growing up, but everything else was camping. And so just did that. And Bethany kind of has a similar background. So we just camped when we met, and we just kept camping, and then got into kind of more of the overlanding when we just wanted to kind of get deeper in the woods, and decided to buy an off-road truck. We're like, oh, that'll just get us further off the grid. And then it's like, okay, so how do we sleep with this thing? And we got to keep tenting it. And we looked into trailers and all sorts of stuff.
That was around COVID. So we spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos of every known trailer, off-roading.
Same.
COVID was research time for
It
overlanding. It really was.
Yeah,
and we also got deeper into overlanding because I don't think we really had done anything before that. You talked about going on trails, like
it was really backpacking and just your average like driving to the woods kind of camp is where it started.
So
Nice.
That is awesome. I see a banjo in the background.
Yeah. I wish I knew how to play it.
Do you play?
No. So what it is a buddy of mine, his dad makes them. That was kind of his retirement thing. He hand makes banjos. And so my brother played banjo in a band. And so I'm familiar with them, but I had this like pretty crazy like European tool from her dad. It was like this 4-piece tool with like one pulley system.
The table saw.
It was like, but it had 4 different things in it, like a router, a table saw, all sorts of stuff.
Cleaner,
it was very small, and I just didn't use it. And so I gave it to my buddy's dad because he wanted to use it. He's like, I'll give you one of my homemade banjos.
Oh, that's a good trade.
It's like, okay, like it's a fair trade. So
nice.
So right now it's just hanging there. I pluck it a little bit and annoy her, and that's about it.
Oh yeah. I love it. I have a guitar I know my wife with. So yeah. we're a lot alike.
And over, you can't see it, it's off camera, but Paul bought Jacob, our son, a electronic drum kit, but really it was secretly
it's big enough that I can play on it too.
Of course. Let's
do you and your son have a band.
That was really funny. It's not overlanding related, but I think that was last Christmas.
Yeah.
That Paul and Jacob both bought each other Christmas gifts they secretly wanted for themselves. Like it was so funny because like Jacob picked out some like stuffy to like give to Paul, but he's like, but I want to hold it and love on it. So yeah. So
I love that. I buy my wife stuff for Christmas all the time for me.
Yeah,
constantly. It is that's a secret trick of mine. And so it's that's perfect. I don't know why everybody doesn't do that. Now I notice you're a Chevrolet guy. You drive a Chevrolet with an Alucab topper.
Yep.
Nice.
How do you like the rig? How do you like the setup?
Oh, we love it. Yeah. So the Chevy was the ZR2. We did it for 2 reasons. One, yes, we both work for General Motors, so that's just like might as well pay to our own, retirement.
It's a good one.
But also, like I'm not a vehicle guy, meaning like I'm not a gearhead. I'm a tech guy. I built computers and, programmed like growing up. I did not work on vehicles. And so when we decided we wanted to get a vehicle to get us off the grid further than, the vehicles we previously had, I was like, I want something that is like factory capable, and then I can learn as I break things or need to upgrade rather than buying something and having to upgrade right away. And so the ZR2, this was right before the Gladiator. So really it was the best factory capable, no upgrades needed, right from OEM. So that's why we did it. And it's pretty much still factory. We've done just a couple things just because of like the Alucab, upgrade leaf springs, like that. But other than that, we've kept it as stock as possible.
That's nice. Awesome. So is it, did they have I may be getting this fixed up, but does it have the diesel?
So this one does not. I went with the gas. We did look at the diesel. This one just has a V6.
Yeah.
And at the time we didn't have the Alucab, right? It was also my commuting vehicle. Like it was a little bit of both. And then I got into a position in our company that I'm fortunate enough to have a company vehicle. And so then I could devote this to completely overlanding. So that's when we invested in the alu cab, and now it stays in the garage when it's not out playing.
So sorry about the truck. For the longest time, he was talking about, I want to get a truck. I want a truck, but it doesn't make sense for our lifestyle and this and at the time we had like a Malibu, and we had our Jacob was like a year old, or like less than a year old, so he's like in a infant car seat. And I was just looking at it, like the car, and I said, I don't think truck cabs are much bigger or smaller than like the Malibu, and we fit in the Malibu fine. And it was like literal light bulb, and I think that's what he needed to hear to start researching trucks.
The mid-size trucks.
No, well, that's what I was getting to. Sorry. I thought it was just mid-size truck. I thought he was going to get a Silverado or a Sierra, like a full-size truck. And then he was talking about the Colorado or the Canyon. And he was like talking about like off-roading. And I was like, what? Like, what Pandora's box did I just open up with?
I love it.
And
and then I showed up with it. And she's like, oh, wow, this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they're so nice.
It's been a lot of fun.
They're so nice.
Our neighbors jealous.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure.
At the garage,
they're just so mad because they're like, so easy. You just pulled in your garage, you pulled out, everything's there. I have my trailer. I have to back it down the driveway and load it with all this gear and this and that. And it's like a whole day thing. And you can just like pack your food and go.
Yeah.
So
they're so nice. I fell in love with those, and if I get a truck, because my vehicle is getting old, and so starting to look into the very far future to see what I want. But man, the toppers with the trucks are legit, easy, good. Yeah. Tony's been lusting over a few of those toppers for his Gladiator. I've noticed.
I mean, it's killing me, but I like parking in the garage too much. And right now, my setup, I've got a half bed rack with an iCamper tent, and I clear the garage door by about this much, right? So that everything is pretty much still flush. If I go with a topper or something like that raises the tent up, I wouldn't be able to park inside. So
can you raise your garage?
He's going
I've considered that. It can be done. Yeah, for the right amount.
You can also buy another house with a taller garage.
Well, that was something when we were looking into campers. He's like, we're not buying a new house because of this camper. Like, because we live in the city. Our lot is I think we're like 40 feet wide and like
tiny,
90 feet deep. So it's not wide. Basically, our driveway and our house, and that's it. But he's like, yeah, we're not buying a new house because of our camper. We're not storing it somewhere. So that was fun too.
Yeah, it's almost like the tail wagging the dog, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, but it's.
I mean, if we move from here, I mean, I almost want to just be like a big metal building to store my stuff in while I'm gone.
Yeah.
Barndominium.
Well,
barndominium, yeah.
Yeah, you can do like me and just flatten all your tires before you pull in. It makes your clearance a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had to do with my trailer for a long time. Flatten all the tires and then back it in, then air the tires up. It was a pain. But you do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do, for sure.
Okay, let me ask y'all this. While we're planning getting to know you here, travel is such a huge part of overlanding, and there are so many places in the world you can go. Tell us about some really cool places that y'all been. That you
like with our rig or just
anywhere.
Okay, so I think my most memorable trip would be our first trip when we were like a year or two into being married. We packed up our backpack camping through an army duffel bag. We flew out to Colorado, rented a truck, and did like a week-long loop and camped and explored Colorado. And that was a lot of fun and allowed us, because we'd only been out to Colorado like in the winter to ski.
Yeah.
That was memorable. And then right before Jacob was born, we went to Iceland for 10 days. And we went
the camper van. That was kind of our first like real forte into like living in the vehicle kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is again, not knowing what it was. It was just like, oh, camper van with a pop-up tent and a cooler or a fridge.
Because like, we would be like hiking, and I just remember one time we got hiking and we were like next to this beautiful like waterfall, kind of in the middle of nowhere next to the road. And we're like, we're hungry. Oh, let's just fire up the grill thing, or like, you know, boil some water. And we packed like a bunch of MREs. Yeah. We would just make it there instead of like being in a vehicle and like, okay, we got to go find a restaurant, or we got to find like a gas station or something. Like the flexibility that it provided was really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then
those are like our biggest ones.
Yeah, for like scenic, but then I think for our family, our most memorable was not this summer, but last summer. We took 2 weeks and we left Michigan and we headed west. His brother lives in Omaha, and I have cousins that live in Iowa City. So we're like, well, let's go see them. And then like the following week, another cousin that lives in Wisconsin was getting married. So we're like, well, why don't we just stay out west, or, you know, go west and kind of make like a big loop. So we ended up doing, I think, like 10 states, from like Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and you know, and saw a bunch of landmarks and stuff. And I think for us, it was like it was 14 days on the road with our 5-year-old. And so it was good for us to be like, hey, we can do this. He can do this. I think we figured out like the equation to where we can get some miles down. We can get out and let him run and play and take a break, you know, and we can cover some places. So now that he's getting older, we're like, sweet. That means like every summer we can maybe push it a little bit more and go like further west. Cause we don't have.
Yeah. Like I did Colorado and Utah this summer with Mountain State Overland, and it was just me. So because it's like, you have to like drive a lot to get out there, and he can't like sit in the car like all day long. And so if we want to go out to Utah or, you know, further, it's like, buddy, you got to strap in. We're doing 13, 15 hours. So he's not there yet, but we're getting close.
Yeah. It's, you have to figure out what you can do a little bit at a time, figure it out. Yeah.
So what's your bucket list place to go?
Yeah.
For me, I have upstairs in our living room, I have a map of the United States, and it's a photo frame. And so you can put pictures. And so my goal is for us.
It's of the state, of the country. I mean, so like every state, you got to get a photo.
So then you can load up a photo, and then you can go to their website, and it will print it out in like the shape of that state. And they send it to you as a sticker. So then you like take the map apart, the frame, and you put the sticker down. So it's my goal I got it for him for an anniversary gift. So it's like, my goal is for at least us to visit every state. And then if Jacob's there, that's just icing on the cake. But we're probably like halfway done.
Yeah. So like we have to do like the East Coast. We got to go down North by like where you guys are. But I think like
way west in Alaska.
Yeah. Alaska's like on my big list. And like the, you know, like like British Columbia area. Like that's where I really want to go.
Yeah. We've got one more state to go. North Dakota. North Dakota is our last one.
Really? Okay, cool.
Last one. We covered 18 states this summer and got all of them but the last one.
Wow.
And so next summer we're going to Oregon, but we have to go straight up and then hit North Dakota and then go straight over. So we got a detour just a little bit just to get that one, because there's not really a reason to go to North Dakota. There's
it's just a Roosevelt State Park.
Yeah. Teddy Roosevelt State Park. My niece designed one of the roads in the park. She's a civil engineer, so that's also another
reason to go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if you know this. I actually was telling that story to somebody in the last couple of weeks, and North Dakota actually came out and said that so many people have waited to get North Dakota until last that they've kind of adopted that, and they actually have T-shirts and signs and stickers that say something like, "Finally got the last one," North Dakota on it. And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm in that group. So
it's funny. 2 summers ago, we were in North Dakota, and we were in a campground at the north. There was the parks kind of split, and they're like 2.5 hours apart from each other. So we're at like the northwest park in the campground, and it's basically just us in this campground. And I get up in the middle of the night and I'm using the facilities, but because nobody else is there, I'm just like right by her tire. And then he whispers, he's like, what did you?
I was just like, there's a bunch of buffalo.
And I was like, whoa. And I like shot up and like ran back into the camper. I'm looking, I'm like, those aren't buffaloes. Those are like bushes. He's like, there was no bushes in the middle of that field. When we went
and they're snorting.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then in the morning,
that's great.
we got up and they were gone, but they left presents behind. Yeah. So that was our close encounter with some buffalo.
That's great.
Yeah, well, Alaska's on the top of my list of places to go, and I've often thought that I would go to North Dakota and cross over there, and then go a little bit northwest to Banff, the Banff area, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, BANFF, Banff.
Yeah, good to me. Sounds
anyway. I would love to go there someday, so I just kind of think that's right on the way. So
yeah.
Maybe.
I've never been to the Pacific Northwest, so that's where we're going next summer. And I have to go to North Dakota to get there. So it's on the way. I keep telling
there's a lot of great stuff between Pacific Northwest and North Dakota.
I mean, when you're driving 8,000 miles, what's another 1,000 miles? I mean,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll bring radio chatter to keep you busy.
Oh, we got it.
We
got it.
Yeah.
For sure. We got it. We have not been through all of the questions, and actually some of the answers have changed since we asked them the first time. So, and we're going to get to that here in just a minute. But before we get into what, how most everybody knows you, let's pause to highlight the sponsor of this week's podcast. Tony, take it away.
So I just wanted to say a little bit about Okie Overland. There's some really great people over there. They're supporters of the podcast. But Okie Overland is a full-service overlanding and camping store located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's just about like 2 hours from me. I think you're pretty close there, Joey. But they have all kinds of camping gear, and they do installations, full-service installations on your overland rig. They do monthly gatherings,
campouts,
campouts, things like that. If you go to Facebook, you can follow their Okie Overland Lounge to get notifications and all their events, updates on their events. One thing that I saw today that's pretty cool. You know what? Did you see what they're doing Friday at Rito? They're having a pizza party.
What?
They're cooking pizzas.
Well, we got to give them a shout out and be real nice to them because we're camping right beside them.
Yeah.
This week. So
yes,
give them a shout out and be nice.
So anyway,
Kyle and Tate
and Kyle's wife Casey, they're just fantastic folks.
Fantastic people. Super nice.
That's my wife. Arlo was my
wife. Hey girl. Hey. And I noticed that Cindy Pope was on here. Hey Cindy, thank you for coming on here and saying hey to us, especially saying hey to me. That means a lot. Hits me on the heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, Okie Overland, okie-overland.com. Check them out. They just installed and did a fantastic job putting my rooftop tent on my new Subaru. We've got a new Subaru Forester. That's our family car. And that's what we travel in long distances because the last few times we've done it in the FJ decided it didn't want to go. And so it came back home on a truck. Oh. And so now we take the Subaru. It's got a rooftop tent on it from OVS and the awning. Built a kitchen in the back of it. So they did a fantastic job. They were a little bit nervous because they had to drop the headliner in a brand new car. And but I didn't see not one dirty fingerprint on my headliner. And I looked it over real good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about all the little nasty stickers that they put where you can't see in bad shapes. But anyway,
if y'all want to see it, you just go to Joey's Instagram and you can see what kind of stickers he's talking about. But
see them.
So they support first responders and veterans. So go see them, go check them out. OkieOverland.com. Is it Okie-Overland.com?
Yeah, Okie-Overland. We love you guys. Okay, so on your website, Radio Chatter Game, I have it going across the bottom of the screen if you need to see it. You introduce you and your family on the About page. Tell about all this started. It tells about how all the Radio Chatter Game started about on a trip to Mountain State Overland. And love those guys. Those guys have some of the best videos ever They have the best music ever. The guys that do their music they're just incredible. But love those guys. We've actually had them on our show before. But take us back to that time when y'all were coming back from a trip and how the conversation started about how to get all this going.
Yeah, so we were like on our second trip, and there was a lot more radio chatter on that trip with some of the guests just talking about the rigs and asking questions and upgrades. And I found it, me being in the passenger, I found it entertaining and I liked it, but I also I've realized that I like to talk. And so it was hard for me because I'm like, I really want to talk on the radio, but I can't comment on what kind of like front bumper we have, or, you know, whatever washer fluid. So I was
great
about it. Like when we were leaving, I was like, I really liked that, but how can I contribute and how can others contribute, and what kind of questions can I ask on because I knew we were going on a second trip that year, like in a couple more months. So I thought of like, what are some questions that like anybody could ask and answer? And so I wrote down, the first one was, what was your favorite uprig or favorite upgrade on your rig? And then the second one was, what do you regret, you know, like modifying on your rig? And then I put I had a notebook and I put it away. And then on our way down that, you know, a couple months later, I remembered I started asking those questions. So I started writing more things down. And Paul's like, what are you doing? And I explained to him. So I just thought of more questions, and, you know, he's like, well, don't ask like what your favorite color is or your favorite movie. I have to keep it like overlanding related. Yeah. So then I was like, okay. And I was like, screw you, Paul. And was if like you had to make any like superheroes rig into an overlanding rig, which one would it be? You know, like the Batmobile or
definitely Batmobile.
Yeah. So I did that. And then we were on the trip and I started asking questions on the radio, and I thought people were going to yell at me to like, hey, stop. But it was the opposite. We got to camp and they're like, we really love those questions that you were asking today. It was like a lot of fun talking on the radio. And then we found with a group of people that we were with that we didn't know anybody else. By the time we got to camp and we're sitting around the campfire, it was just like a continuation of our conversation all day, where we would have been spending all day like apart in our separate rigs, and then getting to know each other at the campfire. It's like it sped up that process even more. And so just with that, you know, we were encouraged by the MSO guys and some other guests on the trip, like, you should make a game into this. And we're like, yeah, no. I think we sat on it for a year.
Yeah,
and
we kind of sat on it and tried it and was like, yeah, this is very niche. And
looked into it and then stopped. And then he was like, you know what? I think we should do it. I'll let you take this part over because you can talk about why you wanted.
Yeah, I had been setting some money aside for what I called like alternative investments, meaning just not pumping it into savings or stock market or whatever. Yeah. And I've always wanted to own my own business, learn how to run a business. And I was like, let's just do it. This actually wouldn't be that expensive to do. We can drop a couple grand into product and marketing and stuff, and let's just figure out how to do this. And so, and that's what we did. And so we've been doing this about a year and a half.
Yeah. I think we just, because it was like Overland the Red.
Yeah.
We're coming up on a year. Yeah. I think we went to Overland the Red last year, and that was when we actually had like
physical product.
The actual we had like a couple of like test runs that we took other places, but we actually received like our first order and went to Overland the Red. So yeah, we're coming up on like a year of like our hard launch, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Well, it's really changed a lot of stuff for a lot of people. You know, and those who are listening can comment. But I was trying to think, okay, so when we were kids, there was always travel games. And you were trying to get through, you know, because you had an end goal. You were trying to get from one place to another. Okay, if I drive from here to Colorado, it's 24 hours. It takes me a while. And there's only so much radio you can listen to. There's only so many podcasts you can listen to. And especially if you've got kids, you got to find a way to pass the time. And so we would play, when I was a kid, we would play Slug Bug. You know, everybody be looking for bugs, and if you found a yellow one, you'd cream the person, you know, next to you. or something like that. And plus, I was looking for a way to hit my sister anyway. But we play Slug Bug, I Spy.
Yeah.
We always played I Spy. And then there was something with road signs. I can't remember what we did with road signs.
Yeah,
roadside
bingo, or we always
roadside bingo,
license plate,
license plates. You try to get all the license plates.
Yeah.
So this has really changed the way you can travel. It's not just something that you can do. Slug Bug, no take back. Yeah,
that's right.
And so it's really changed the way that people can travel, because it's not just something that you can do on the radio. It's something that you can do with the people in the car. And so with the people that you interact with, that you get feedback from, what's really the main way that people are using this? Is it radio, or is it personal, or what do you think?
I think it's radio. I feel like when we were overland the red, a lot of people were taking it on the trails, and we got feedback. And they're like, yeah, we're using it on the trails today because there's a lot of new people in the groups, or just a meetup of miscellaneous rigs.
And then I'd say it's over the radio in groups, like Jeep Jamboree. There's been some Jeep ones they've done, those kind of things. And then the second is at camp. So both because it is a deck of playing cards, but also, if you're already talking over the radio and then you get to camp and you're like, oh, let's just pull out a card and start some conversation around the campfire. So we've seen a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
I love it.
Joey.
Yeah.
What's your favorite question?
I've got two.
I have mine.
You have yours? I've got two.
I always
picked up two.
Everybody's favorite question. I think this is my favorite, is like the feedback.
So
I can tell you that if we have people that come on the podcast, and of course we do this live, so we have people that comment all the time. And if we were to say, okay, what's your favorite camping question? What's the number one thing that we get every single time, Tony?
It's the same one that I ask all the time.
Same one.
What's your favorite camp meal?
Oh my gosh. I almost left that out of the deck. It's just like, I saw that in there and I was like, I ain't using that one.
I asked this question just about of every guest. What's your favorite camp meal?
Oh my gosh, I swear.
And I've been doing it before.
Are you actually going to use that card? You're playing that card right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to play cards.
What are, like, do people have like the same meal, or is it?
No, they just ask the question, because that's the question. That is the question when people get on here. We're not even on topic, but that at least one time on every show, somebody, most of the time Benji, will come on here and he'll say, "What's your favorite camp meal?"
Hey,
they just type that in there, and I'm just like,
it's part of the experience. We love to eat, and I love camping the Joey because he's always cooking something good.
That's your card. You're playing it. So he's asking you, what's your favorite camp?
I think in general, I enjoy like just a hot meal, like kind of fresh. But then the other thing that I've really enjoyed doing is making Rice Krispie treats when we camp.
What?
Yeah.
You do that when you camp?
Yeah.
So you actually melt the stuff and you mix it with the stuff, and then you make the stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Do you put anything on it, or is it just the Rice Krispies and the marshmallows?
Just Rice Krispies and marshmallows.
And
butter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think you got him on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a new one, Tony, and you're going to see it this week.
A new one? What?
Favorite camp meal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you're going to see my new favorite camp meal too.
I am. It's probably got Mamoos on it.
It's probably the same thing.
It's probably the same one. All right. That's funny. Okay. I've got
What's your question?
My card is what is the one thing that you have splurged on?
Is that your favorite? Because it's
not my favorite. I think it's just one of the hard ones that you have.
It's difficult.
Mm-hmm. Do you want our answer?
Yeah. What's your answer?
Our mattress.
Yeah, I think the Hest mattress.
Oh, the Hest? Oh, yeah.
We went right away with it. It was kind of a gamble. We'd never been on one, but the Alucat mattress is terrible.
We tried like layering, but then it wasn't that great. And then it also was like really thick. And with the blankets and pillows, it was like
hard to shut.
Yeah.
So we went with it. And it's like, I always like equate it to people at camp. Usually your first night, like especially if you're in a ground tent, the first night you sleep terrible.
Yeah.
The second night, you always sleep great because you slept terrible the first night. with that Hess mattress, like the first night is like any other night. Like we just go in, we go to bed, we wake up, and it was like we're sleeping at home. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored, but I've tried. If you're listening, we'd love to be sponsored.
Joey, I am so looking forward to sleeping on my new cloud topper from Oki.
Oh,
like in cold weather, sleeping in my sleeping bag and my cloud topper on my self-inflating air mattress.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is Free Spirit just came out with a puffy cloud topper that actually attaches to the tent mattresses.
Oh, okay.
So you're sleeping on like a puffy blanket on top of a puffy blanket. And I will have mine as well. But I actually look forward to getting in my tent now with that.
I do too.
Because they came out with a 12-volt heated blanket and then a puffy. And so I have the heated blanket on top of the puffy. And then I cover up with another puffy. And I'd go out there and sleep in my
We
yard.
talked about, because the other thing, there's a question in our cards that says, like, what do you refuse to buy or get or upgrade? And Paul is adamant that, what is the piece of gear that you refuse to purchase in his? Is he refuses to get like the Alucab heater.
Oh, they're so cool though. We can see the fire in it.
Yeah.
Those are the coolest heaters ever.
I just refuse to do it.
Yeah. So, but there's been some nights that it's chilly, and then our old man, Jason.
Yeah.
He likes to crawl into his Alucab and turn his furnace on. And he always teases us about it.
Why, Paul? Why?
I actually, with our 6-year-old, I'm okay with not having that right
next to where he sleeps.
And then because we'll put him to bed before we go to bed, and we close up the camp. I don't know what he's messing around. He's always rearranging the patches and things. So that is actually a big reason why I
that's
don't
for
even
you.
Want,
Me.
I'm just I don't want it
because
is it expensive?
No, well, I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but so is the whole Alucab.
Anything that has Alucab on it's expensive.
Yeah, so for me,
I just never priced it, so I didn't know.
He's just.
It's just I don't know, it's
proven a point.
It's too much luxury. I can handle. There's only been one night that I wish I had something, and it was 10 degrees, and I woke up and the whole inside was ice.
And we haven't.
Yeah,
you can't.
She won't do that. So generally speaking, it'll get I think the coldest we've slept with Jacob is 36, 34 degrees. But you put all three of us up there, and generally,
body heats. Body heats a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
I use a JetBoil heater or a JetBoil burner a lot.
He uses his cook stove burner.
I'm telling you, the little burner from the Minimo.
One of these nights, I'm gonna look over there, and his whole tent's gonna be on fire, and his butt's gonna be trying to get out of it. It's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna be laughing, and you're not getting in with me. You're not doing it.
Watch me.
I'm telling you.
Watch me.
Hey, I'll cuddle you.
The other thing that I've mentioned, I was like, hey, maybe we could get a camp potty or a camp toilet for me. I'm fine with walking into the woods and stuff, but there have been some times where there hasn't been a discreet place for me to go where I can just turn around because there's people all around us that having a little pop-up or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then this past summer when he was on his Colorado Moab tour, he got to experience the camp toilet. He's like, oh, it's actually kind of nice. I was like, yes, I see that. And once you experience it, you're like, oh, I'll have to get it now.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough that your wife needed it. Nope.
Hey, we need to circle back to Jasper Jeep Jam when they asked about the power consumption.
So the 12-volt heated blanket will run off a little power pack, and the diesel heater will not. So I'm going with diesel heater, using more.
Yeah.
Yeah. They run off.
Yeah. Over for all night thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Have you used it?
No.
You can't prove me wrong then.
Well, I've heard that 12-volt blankets eat batteries. Everybody that's ever used one.
We'll see.
I mean,
because it's going to be 50 degrees. I will be using it this week.
My diesel heater pulls 6-7 watts when it's running.
Yeah.
So when it heats up, it uses 100
when you
watts,
can get it to work.
No, it works just fine. I used it the other day.
Sometimes. Do you have another card?
I do. I have 50 some odd cards. Which one you want? Pick a card, any card.
That one.
Oh, I was going to say that one, but we've already talked about that one.
Okay.
Your favorite adventure.
Okay.
What's your well?
Huh? Are you skipping?
Well, I just like, well, okay. What's on your bucket list? What adventures are on your bucket list?
Yeah, we can't, at least in the US, of like areas. Paul tends to, when we did the original asking questions, he really enjoyed.
This one's fun.
Like when people could
learn,
you can learn either something about the 12-volt battery blankets, or something about like maneuvering or gear to help you get through the trails and stuff, or situations. He definitely likes the learning. I like asking questions where you put someone in a really uncomfortable situation and then they have to pick, like kind of like we talk about like always, sometimes, never. And it's like
a famous person?
Famous person. Who would it be?
Yeah. Oh, I had one and I forgot.
My wife actually asked me that one when we were on the trip, and I think it would be cool to go on a trip with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now I know he's like 1,000 years old, so take him back about 20 years maybe, when he was Dirty Harry, and pointing the big long 15-inch pistol at people. I think he would be cool to have. You get off my lawn, he's a cool guy. I think he'd be cool to travel with. So I picked him.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you pick, Tony?
Oh gosh. I mean, it's pretty hard to top Clint Eastwood.
Oh, you can't take my answer.
No, that's against the rules.
Yeah,
I think it says that on here somewhere.
Are there any rules? Do y'all have rules? Are there any rules for the game?
No,
Okay.
no rules.
Kind of
explain yourself, because you'll notice, for just keeping the font size big, we don't say and why or and explain. Like that's part of the rules. You have to explain.
Or we just try to say like it's more fun if you don't give one-word answers.
Yeah, true.
Or change the question.
Yeah.
A lot of times they spin off other questions afterwards. Right?
True. And I did notice when you were talking about how this all began, you initially came up with around 200 questions. You narrowed it down to 50. So I imagine y'all have got a bank of other questions that you could ask. My wife said Matthew McConaughey. He's Burt Reynolds would be cool.
Yeah.
And Burt Reynolds would be cool if he was like in the Trans Am following you, or you had to meet him somewhere and it was like a race. So that'd be cool.
So I think our two most common we hear from people are Keanu Reeves and Adam Sandler. Those are the two most common.
Yeah, I was gonna pick somebody funny, maybe like Robin Williams, or I don't know, somebody.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart would be fun.
Oh my gosh.
The Rock has to be in somebody else's.
The Rock.
Yeah.
That would be
if you take The Rock and Kevin Hart, I don't know how you'd survive.
I was thinking like a chef, so that when you get to camp, they can cook for you.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know that person.
I don't know 100 times.
It's got to be famous.
Who's that?
Google it.
And she even threw the middle initial in there. So
okay, listen. Now you got my curiosity up.
Tony's going to look that up.
Thompson.
S. Thompson, American journalist.
Ooh, that might be good. Informational.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, one of my favorite questions is the one that says, "What do you wish you would have left at home?" Because there's always that one thing. There's always that one thing that you take.
He wrote the book of Hell's Angels.
Ooh, Hell's Angels.
He wrote the Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. There's always that one thing that you always take with you that is always in the way. And I love that because I always have an answer. But that question is for the trip you're on. So it's hard for me to answer that now.
Yeah.
But, there's been like water jugs. There's been showers. There's been
pants.
Excuse me, what?
I said pants.
Pants.
Oh, that's the thing that you
Yeah.
forgot, Tony. Like
Yeah.
Tony.
You could probably name
That's
a
it.
person that you would have would have liked to have left at home. So you can't say your wife, Tony. But it's one of those things that changes every time because there's always that one thing that gets in the way. So I love that question. That's like trip specific.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
what is the longest?
I keep thinking about this Keanu Reeves as the most, and I'm like, which Keanu Reeves are we talking about? From
now, I think Mammoose is talking about what would you wish you had left at home instead of the famous person you wanted.
I got the answers mixed up. I brought your mother-in-law.
Yeah. Gia says Vin Diesel.
It's a Fast and Furious overlanding.
Yeah, that's so funny. But all right, here's mine. What's the longest road trip you've taken? That's my last one. What's the longest road trip you've taken, Tony?
Probably the farthest. The road trip, start to finish, would be the one where I met you and Porker in Denver, and we went to Wyoming, and then
that's because you left us and drove to Utah on a whim.
No, Arizona.
Okay, Arizona.
I drove through Utah.
We were coming back to Kansas, and you stopped halfway, and you're like, "I think I'm going to Arizona." See y'all. Yeah, and he was gone. That turned it into the longest road trip ever.
Y'all left like a week before I did. I wasn't ready to go home.
Well, and plus, we should have went with you because we went to Kansas, and it was 1,000 degrees when we got there.
It wasn't all that nice.
It wasn't great. Okay. What's the longest road trip y'all have taken, Paul?
I think it was last summer when we went and did all of those states and the Dakotas, Wyoming, Montana.
But I'll change the question a tad because that's part of the rules. So my longest single trip was actually when I was a kid with my family. We left the house, drove to Northern Ontario. It was 12 hours straight driving. And then we got out and then we had to portage across 3 lakes for 12 hours to get to our site.
That's so cool.
It was 24 hours door to camp.
That sounds awful.
My brother, my grandfather, and my father. 24 hours straight.
Oh, see, I love that. Yeah. I love that. We learned about the whole portaging lakes last summer when we were in Minnesota at the Boundary Waters, and that just fascinates me.
Yep, carrying everything on our backs.
Carrying everything.
Kayaks and canoes and motors and gas and camp gear and food and all that.
I mean, who doesn't want to, go on a 1 mile hike 8 times in a row carrying your gear?
Yeah, carrying a 6 horsepower Mercury,
Isn't it?
Holy cow.
And then going back for 2 gallons of gas. And,
yep.
Isn't it portage?
Yeah, my
portage.
Portaging.
Yeah, portaging.
Portage.
I love it. So these are so fascinating. I mean, we could do this all night, and I think but the reason it's fascinating to me is everybody has a different answer, and you actually get to know that person so much better by the end than when you started.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when you're just sitting there and you're trying to get to know somebody, carry on a conversation, you go to your go-to questions like tell me about where are you from, what's your favorite camp meal, just the go-to questions that everybody asks. And but this actually broadens your horizon a little bit, and you actually get to know people a little better. So Cindy said, I'm planning along 5,000 miles in 18 days from Illinois to Pacific Coast and Oregon back.
Oh.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Cindy.
Yep.
Well, that's what we're doing next summer. Mine was this past summer, we did 7,000 miles, 18 states, 2 Canadian provinces. And that was a long trip, 7 weeks, I think.
Oh.
You were gone too long, buddy.
No, I would not have come home if work didn't get in the way.
If it wasn't for adulting.
And it was just
adult. We just drove till we ran out of money and needed to get paid again. So then we had to come home, go back to work and get paid again. And that's what we'll do next summer. We'll leave 1st of June or end of May and come back middle of July. So that's the good thing about working at a school. When school's closed, we just leave and say, don't call us. we're not going to answer. So
awesome.
Yeah, love it. But my wife loves this stuff, and she loves, asking questions, probing people, getting to know. She's a question asker.
I bet she's going to love your other new set of cards.
So yeah, I asked y'all this off air, so my wife is going to absolutely love this. I swear.
I just ordered 2 sets while we were on air. Thank
babe,
you.
You're gonna love this.
2 sets.
And I didn't know this, and I looked all over your Instagram and couldn't find it. It's on the dark web. I know it's on the dark web. But anyway, so there is actually, if you don't know this is not the world premiere because people actually know this, but there is a radio chatter after dark. This is an adult version of the game.
Not kid friendly.
Not kid friendly. So yeah, see, she's on here. Tell me.
See?
So there is an adult version of this game.
Yep.
And so tell me about what sparked the after dark web. What sparked the adult version? How did y'all come up with this?
Never mind. So when we started going through this with people about the questions, they were like, yeah, she loves it.
Right.
People are like, oh, okay. And then they're like, you need an adult only version.
Yeah, that was like their feedback.
So, and people like,
don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah.
People said like, oh, like Cards Against Humanity. So we've done 2 things. The first thing we did was we came up with literally just an adult version of conversation starter questions. But we do have a prototype of Cards Against Humanity for this called Cards Against Overlanding. That's not for sale yet, but we do have a prototype. We were looking for it. I think it's upstairs. But so we kind of went both ways, but this is what we have available right now. It's 18 cards. It's what we call an expansion pack. You can get it in a case, and it will have, this will house 3 expansion packs as we add more. And so yeah, these are more intended. We call it not safe for radio. For those that like to follow the rules, you can't use profanity and things you're not supposed to, or vulgar over the GMRS radio or anything.
Right.
Right. Does that. So not safe for radio, intended for the, that's fine.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The campfire. So yeah, we're happy to read questions if you would like a question.
You can give us a sample. You can give us this is a family friendly show, but I don't think there's any
let me
kids
see
on
if I
here.
can find
No, not that
I know.
one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look
Here's
at my
Gia.
wife's comment.
She
yeah.
has so many
that's-
ideas.
Beta test.
We can do that one. Right. Or this one.
Not nervous. You said you have younger people listening. See, and it was funny. Like I have questions, but when we were like coming up with the list of these, I was like getting a little gun shy about some of the questions because I was like, oh, I don't want people to think like
Worth less of you?
yeah.
No. Well, she's got a dirty mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'll just say we had like, what is the swinger sign in the adventure community? And that's
like the upside down pineapple in the
so like in the trailer,
it would
be
an upside down Jeep duck.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's a
I like
sign.
that one.
I didn't.
Yeah, upside down Jeep duck. That's what that is, Tony. And you've got several on your dash.
So now they're all gonna be
I
flipped.
have 0 ducks. I do not like the ducks.
You don't keep your ducks in a row, do you?
Mm-mm.
Well, that's cool. I and we don't have to get into that embarrassing part, but I just wanted to bring that out there. First of all, so my wife would know because she would absolutely die to have some of those.
Yeah. She's
Just
got
to
a set
embarrass
coming.
me.
She's got a set coming. I can't wait for Joy to be embarrassed.
But that is so cool, and you because I wanted to know if you had any other ideas about other sets that you have coming out because I'm sure that you've got more
2.0
ideas.
or
The 2.0,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to do other expansion packs to go with the gear hauler so that you can add on to it. I was saying earlier, like one of the things that I enjoy getting to know people is like how will people handle being in a situation where it's like the marry kill game, but it's like always, sometimes never. So it's like if you had to pick between your toothbrush and toothpaste deodorant
or
toilet paper? What's something that you always have, sometimes have, and never have?
Or
like
if you could,
yeah, you have to pick like one of those.
Yeah. So we have
like
some
those, and because it's like they're all. If you don't have them, there's an inconvenience, but like, what inconvenience are you like willing to
give up? Yeah.
Versus like, no, I have to have like toilet paper or something. Or like give three really nice scenarios and you have to like throw one away. Like I like that because it's just like, man, those are like all really bad situations. I have to pick one, or all really good and I have to pick one. And how do I narrow it down? I like that because I feel like you get into everyone's mind a little bit more, or get a different perspective of
And again, everybody will have a different answer.
Yeah.
I see those all the time on social media where they'll have like, okay, McDonald's, Arby's, Wendy's, and Popeyes. One has to go. Which one has to go? And you have to throw one out. And that's good. Good thinking. Peeing in your tent.
That's a no.
Yes or no? No,
I do not.
Nope. Oh, I do.
Yeah. Everybody knows you do.
My initial answer was no. Why would people do that? And I thought, crap, I do that. There you go. My bad. Well.
No.
So we had the expansion packs, and then we have like some prototype games that we have here. So I said that Cards Against Overlanding, but this one we called Stranded. Man, I gotta go with my camera here. So this is like
Clue.
But a card game version. And so the game, instead of finding like who murdered someone with what weapon in what room, this is who got stranded, what happened at what location. So we have like for you guys, like in the Ozarks, you had a broken tie rod, and it was Gearhead Gary.
Gearhead Gary.
So we kind of came up with that. So like
funny.
again, these are just kind of prototypes that we've been taking to different events and kind of socializing with people to see what people like and stuff. So we have a couple different prototype non-question games, just other
game,
card games.
Well, trying to make it overlanding adventure based.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. There's so many things you could do, and I love how your mind works, and you're actually getting out there and testing some more products and doing just for fun and having fun with it. And I love it. Absolutely love it. So
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we had a great time with it, and I know it won't be the last time because, like I said earlier, a lot of the answers have changed since we asked them the first time, and a lot of them are trip specific. So, what would you wish you'd left at home? Things like that. So you never get old. Plus, you can actually play a card game because it does have all the cards, and so you can play poker or whatever. And it's funny when we try to actually use them as cards, we get sidetracked because a question will come up because the questions are actually on the card side. And and you'll be like bingo or whatever, and you're like, oh, I forgot we got that question. What was when we asked each other the question. So anyway, that's funny. We like it. Nearing the end of the podcast here, we like to end at about an hour. So let me ask you, where can we keep up with you? Will you be going to any events from between now and the end of the year or anything like that?
Not this year. We're done with events this year. You can so we're most active on Instagram at Radio Chatter Game. We do have the website, so thank you for having it at the bottom. That's where you can purchase. We have the main products on the main site, but if you click the store, it has all of our products. We have a couple games and shirts and stickers and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, no more events this year. We did a few early on this year, but because we have day jobs, we're limited on vacation. So no more events for us this year. But follow us on social media.
Mountain State Overland just joined us on Instagram, so y'all can say hey to them if you want to. We can't pull their stuff up on the screen here, but they are on here.
Perfect.
On
hey guys.
Appreciate y'all being on here. We love you guys, and your videos are the best. And I mentioned that earlier. You can go back and prove it.
Yes.
And you have the best music for sure. We will definitely try to come see you in Michigan and try to hook up with you. We go up there every summer and try to get up there with you. But everybody just check them out. You will love this game. It will change the way you travel. It did for us, and it will for you because we're not special. we're pretty much like everybody else. Also on your website, you do have a blog that and people have written about, and I even wrote an article on there where, when we came across one of the questions and it really hit me hard and it really made an impact on me, and it was so cool that we had to put it into words. But you do have a blog on there that people can go on there and read, so that's another cool thing about that. And you also have a Facebook page, that's linked to your Instagram. So keep up with you. Go on and radiochattergame.com and order some cards. Man, I tell you what, it's cool and you'll love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else y'all want to share before we go? We really appreciate having y'all on.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's very nice meeting both of you. Good luck or have fun on your upcoming trip.
Well, thank you. It's good to talk to you guys. We enjoy the game, and we are going to enjoy the new game when it gets here. Right?
Yeah,
Joey?
we sure will. We sure will. I swear. Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, yeah. Well, anybody, if you're going to Rendezvous, we will see you at the end of this week in a couple of days. Tony will be there tomorrow evening with Michael Pruitt from Pruitt and Isles Valley. He's going to take early, and I hate you for it.
Nanner.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful week. We are the Overland Podcast, and we appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful week. Hope to see you at the end of this week. And Paul and Bethany, thank y'all for being on here.
Thank you.
And as I always tell everybody, that's what, no matter what you do, no matter where you go this week, look out for number 1. Don't step at number 2. We're out.